Hello beautiful people, and welcome back to another fantastic episode in which we wanna evaluate this June base skin which River Game just announced right now. And this is the Wrathfire Fortress. Looks pretty awesome. I have to give them that. From the design perspective, these skins look better and better. But it doesn't change the fact we have to evaluate this skin from the equipping stats, but also from the holding in stock, and see, is this a good skin? Do we have alternative for this? So let's do that in this episode. So we see that this base skin has actually two levels, a level 1 and a level 2. And in order to give this skin the best chance possible, we have to evaluate it from the level 2 perspective. And first of all, let's start with the holding in stock buffs, which for players like me, which were used from the past to buy every single skin out there, no matter how the equipping stats looked like, because I'm just gathering these passive stats. From my perspective, this is not something which I look for, just the army HP, and we have a lot of skins in TOPWAR which actually gives you far more when it comes down to the holding in stock, so that's not a big selling argument for me personally. What you do is of course up to you. Second important thing which we have to mention in this episode is, yes, this skin is exclusively only for the army, and we have a lot of players in TOPWAR which only using Navy or are only using Air Force, and generally speaking, no matter what item we have in TOPWAR, when you see that is an universal item, that will always gonna have a higher value in general. Good, let's analyze the equipping stats of this skin. And here we see a whopping and a massive 18% damage increase, but here's the catch, just for the first row. And on top of this, we have all units HP 50% and all units attack boost 70%. Now, if you watched that episode, which I uploaded a couple of days ago, when it comes down to the stats, you should already know by now that HP and attack, these are additive stats. So in other words, the higher your stats will become, the lesser value you are actually getting from HP and attack, because this is simply additive. So we go back now to this huge 18% damage increase just for the first row. Now, granted, this sounds fantastic, but I have a couple of questions. Like, for example, what if I'm not satisfied with the amount of procs from slot 1, 2, 3, which are massively buffed by the formation and so on? When my heroes will proc from slots 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 and 9, this skin literally gives me nothing for that. Second question which a player may potentially have is, what about if I'm using my heavy trooper on slot number 5? Guess what? This base skin, this massive 18% damage increase won't help you there either. So this wouldn't be a Timmy video if I wouldn't show you an alternative. And let me show you the Icy Snow Town skin. And that gives me a 12% damage increase. And here is the huge catch. This applies for all 9 slots, which has a far higher value. And of course, we have smaller values of 20% attack for all units and 20% HP for all units. And of course, we have to mention this because it's super important. This skin applies for whatever troop you are using. It doesn't matter if you're using planes, tanks or navy, this skin will simply gonna work. And if you want, we can go one step further and have a look at the holding in stock. And this is always how I calculate for my entire account, and this should be also the case for you. At a certain point, presumably you keep playing TOPWAR, yes, you will reach this time in which you're gonna have a solid match for your planes, a solid match for your tanks, and a solid match for your navy. And therefore, seeing here 10% attack and 10% HP means, in other words, 30% attack, 30% HP for your whole account. So you're buying literally 60% stats versus just a 50% just in case you're an army main. And not just that, we also have an all units damage increase on top of 2% on the Icy Snow Town. So yeah, while granted, I must confess that the design of this warfare fortress looks absolutely stunning. There is no question about it, and this is really not negotiable from my perspective. When it comes down to the holding in stock buffs, are nothing amazing, nothing tempting. And when you have a second look at the equipping stats, you also will understand that there are far better skins out there in Top War. Not to mention because we are expecting this skin to have a price between 160 and 170 US American dollars, which is, yeah, not necessarily nothing. So anyways, beautiful people, I would love to hear your thoughts regarding this base skin in the comments. As always, yeah, don't forget to support what supports you back, which is this channel and me personally since November 2022. Thank you very much for watching. Share the channel with your friends, subscribe, and don't forget to see me in the next episode. Ciao, guys.